Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the New Mission Mindset. This is Victoria Molnar, and today we are going to have another unique podcast. This is going to be highlights from the Northwest Indiana Summit, but we had it in West Lafayette. It was a wonderful venue. We're going to try to get you some of the panel messages, some of the images. So I really hope you guys enjoy it and watch it and hear it through all the way to the end. Very cool. Very beautiful. I feel like I'm not even in Indiana anymore. It's a beautiful day. We are here I know my plate says Texas right now, but it's a rental. We are at the stables getting ready for the Lafayette INvets Summit down here in Great Indiana. It's going to be a fun time with companies and veterans and INvets, networking and mingling.
Look at that. It's like we're back in the military. We got the smoke pit on the side.
Bringing back all the veterans to the feeling of the good old smoke pit. You know, we all had lots of conversations at smoke pits over the years, anytime you served. And we cannot forget that we are in Purdue land at the Boilermakers. It's one of our great universities here. Great school, great degrees. The stables, here we are at the venue. And then the sign, we are excited because it's may all who enter as guests leave as friends. It's a great motto. So we will have to remember that when all of our people show up, and that we partner and we get good jobs for our veterans relocating back to Indiana. Here we are inside of the venue. It is all set up. Later this is going to be booming with people and networking and making connections. This is really a beautiful site. You're seeing behind the scenes here, planning. Love the tables. Beautiful venue. They do all types of events here, so if anyone ever needs an event location in Lafayette, wonderful place for networking, weddings, all of the above.
Here.
Yay!
Yeah. Yay! These for mowing.
Yeah!
Oh, here, we'll hold these up.
So here at the summits, we always do check-ins and ask for feedback. I'm giving you guys a little update, and then this is just the beginning of networking. We got the companies, the mayor, everyone around, pop cam for headshots. Great organization. If a company or an organization or a team is looking for their employees to do headshots, got everyone mingling. This event so far is a success. We also then have people networking. So this is just the pregame of before we start.
Lafayette offers a lot from world-class research at Purdue to advanced manufacturing and growing industries across the region. Did you know that Cara Webb, she is the local workforce development director at GLC, was part of the group that originally was looking for veteran initiatives that could help with veterans growth and workforce development. She was one of the people who actually kind of worked towards building what INvets is today. Subaru was one of the 5 champion companies that worked with INvets in our early stages under the founder and former CEO Wes Wood. The other 4 pilot companies along with Subaru were Cummins, Honda, Allison Transmission, and Toyota. These companies didn't wait. They leaned in early, invested in the concept, and helped us prove what was possible. INvets has also had an amazing fortune to receive a READY grant from the Greater Lafayette Chamber to market this region for transition veterans and their spouses. We are here tonight because 2 things are true at the same time. Employers need a talented, skilled workforce who are ready and willing to learn and work, and transitioning service members and their families are looking for places to build their next chapter, with the priority being finding a career and to find a community that they can call home. The role of INvets is to connect these 2 things, intentionally and effectively. Every year, thousands of highly skilled men and women leave the military. The Northwest region of Indiana seems to operate on a can-do mindset and are forever pioneering new initiatives. Some of this is through Purdue, and much of it is driven by the companies here in the Greater Lafayette area. When the former lieutenant governor chose to support INvets as her veteran initiative, she made it clear that this is truly a scale to serve both veterans and employers across Indiana. It needed to be an industry-wide and free of charge for both the companies and the military families we serve. Because of that vision and because of the foundation these companies have built, INvets is what it is today. Thank you all for being here and supporting INvets in every way you possibly can. We are really working hard right now. With everyone knows we lost half of our budget last year, and we are pushing hard now to get it back. And we are continuing with half the amount of people we had last year on our employment, and we're still doing the numbers we did last year. So thank you so much for all of your support. And once again, thank you to James for everything he's done to us. That being said, I will be followed by James Messner, the Veteran Days Manager here in the report.
And it's all just kind of weird. So, perfect, thank you. So before we get into the panel, one of our presenting sponsors actually couldn't be here, Joe DeBino, and IUBA wasn't able to make it. However, he's going to come to us from virtual land, and he has just a brief message for us.
Good evening, everybody at the INvets Northwest Indiana Summit. My name is Joe Vito. I'm the Communications Director in Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs. I wish I could be there in person, but I could not make it this evening. But I appreciate your time for me to say a few words to you on this video. First off, I just want to say big thank yous to everyone at INvets and the team. They worked really hard on these summits, and it's been a great positive opportunity for us to help them in sponsorship and work through these. So appreciate all their work and all their efforts to put something as great as the events of tonight together. One thing I would like to talk about a little bit is our Get Connected platform. You can see it on our screen here. It's a simple messaging system, and it's a way for us to communicate directly to our Indiana veteran community. Everybody there, all the hard work you're doing, whether you're a veteran, an employer, seeking to be an employee, or any other service provider there, you are part of our Indiana veteran community, and our mission here at IDVA is to support and serve and advocate for all of you. One of the ways we can do that best is making sure we're delivering the best information, the correct information, to the right folks at the right time. This platform helps us do that. When veterans scan in or text, it takes them to a form. You get a few bits of information from them as far as their place of service, dates of service, location in the state. This is also for family members and caregivers of veterans as well. We'll determine which relationships in this system as well. What the system does is it gives us the opportunity then to curate very specific messaging for folks across the state. So I wanted to communicate just to Air Force veterans in Wayne County who had spouses. We actually extracted all of that out and text message or email those folks directly with specific information. This really helps us not throw everything against the wall and see what sticks, but instead directly target our messaging to make sure it's getting delivered on time across the state. We want to partner with everybody in the room on this project and help provide you any information you can to utilize our Get Connected platform. As far as you can, you both out there to text and scan, or all the way to the point of us helping develop some marketing for you with your organization or business to help get this message out. We appreciate that opportunity to work with you individually on our platform so we can make sure that we're not only disseminating all the state and federal benefits and resources that we know accurately, but we can also help you communicate with your local veteran community as well. So it's a wonderful partnership opportunity that we want to take with you. And what this best part about this platform is, it helps veterans to directly get connected to their county veteran service officer. It gives them the opportunity to request a meeting and get that set up. So this is a great opportunity for everybody and all of us to help our veteran community be connected. We want to make sure we're doing that through the transition periods that all of our veterans go through, all of our National Guard reservists and active duty go through as well in the state. It's a wonderful, important message that we want to make sure folks are connected, and you can help us do that. With all that said, I'll give you back some of your time this evening. Have a great time, socialize, get to know each other, and we wish I could be there, but it's great to see you all. Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
With the Army, when I learned in 2022. I retired. When I retired, I actually started off as a client of INvets. So I am living proof that the process works. They can help you find what you're looking for, whether you are a partner of ours who is still looking to fulfill employment opportunities, if you're a company that's trying to grow. And this evening, our whole sole purpose is to highlight and showcase how we can help everyone do that. So, with that, Michael, Mayor, we started to please come forward and have a seat, and we'll go ahead and get started. Here's a quick now the introduction of you, your experiences, and your
Good evening. My name is Erin Easter. I am mayor of the city of West Lafayette. I am on year 3 of 4, and it has been a whirlwind, to say the least. I have a long career history with Greater Lafayette Commerce, actually, which Michael will talk about shortly. I'm working with some of the same individuals on workforce development programs across the Greater Lafayette area. So my entire career, when I moved back to Greater Lafayette, was thinking about how we make this an attractive and wonderful place to live for everyone who can possibly live here, and not even veterans. So, thinking about family services and connections to any kind of service you can possibly need, housing, jobs. If you are a dual career household, what that looks like for your entire family. So, that's what I've been doing for the last little bit.
My name is Mike Berger. I'm President and CEO of Greater Lafayette Commerce. I'm in about month 8 or so of the job. I've been in the community since 1997. I came as a freshman at Purdue University, started a company with one of my professors and led a few other business things, and then stepped into this role. And Greater Lafayette Commerce, we are, I guess, the region's, we do economic development, so we help attract good companies and good jobs to this region. We are the Chamber of Commerce, so we are the way that the business community organizes itself to help the business community work well with local government, with the school systems, with our nonprofits. And we also do workforce development, so helping train up and attract good quality talent to take those jobs from the companies and provide for the quality of life types of things, and we want to see all of that come together. And veterans are a huge part of it. We have a long history of serving veterans, as James mentioned, with CARES work, but we're always looking to grow and innovate and keep up. And so INvets is just, I guess, have been hugely helpful to help us really understand the needs of veterans and the opportunities that we have in this community.
which is a great deal. So communities across the country are being able to transition services. From both the city leadership and the regional, we stand up what makes the Greater Lafayette area an attractive place for veterans and for individuals to go over.
So on a local government level, I would say the 3 things that I think we have done really well in the Greater Lafayette area. One is recruiting jobs that people want. These are jobs where if you have military experience, some of these are very transferable skills. And we see often where veterans are having more robust and successful careers in some of these positions than our civilian employees. The second is our quality of life. So for what you're paying, for the amount that you're investing in your home, in your vehicles, in insurance, whatever that is to relocate and be in a place, we offer really great quality of life relative to the amount of money that you're going to be spending. And then I would say schools, honestly, our school systems are incredible. And we have some really high-rated school systems in Greater Lafayette that are that's managing every experience that a child could need or have at the university.
I think that I agree with that, right? So if you look at Indiana in general, we're going at is in the leading area, right? But when you look at the entire state, this is one of the best places in the country for education analytics, cost of living, everything that you talked about. Indiana is leading that chart.
Yeah, I probably don't have a whole lot to add with Mayor Easter said, but I think about it in kind of 3 ways. Opportunity. We have a pretty diverse economy here, so advanced manufacturing, logistics, engineering, agriculture, and a growing semiconductor industry, which is pretty exciting. Some of the opportunities there, so we on the forefront. Some of that new technology. Community, we generally have people that are really civically engaged. We have faith communities and employers that, because it is a competitive employment environment, I've been an employer for a long time, you have to care about work culture and family and those kinds of things, or you'll lose really good people. And last, I think, is the trajectory. So Greater Lafayette has done a lot of great things, but I think there's just everybody can see my staff was just out in Maryland at a site selectors and office. So people from all over the country that are looking from companies all over the world are looking. And literally, our company goes like, "Oh, it must be so tough to be from Lafayette, where all these amazing things are happening, right?" So many communities wish they had the problems that we have. How are we going to handle all this right?
We definitely have our own things under that. So, and through organizations like the Greater Lafayette Congress, employers are constantly identifying workforce threats. How can local government, business, community work together to better connect veterans with those opportunities?
That's like exactly the reason we exist, right? So we're a nonprofit, and we're mainly driven by our 1,000+ business and matters. And so our job is to help them coordinate, to identify the issues that this employer has and that employer has, and say, hey, okay, it's better if we can come up with a program, a system to help all of the employers, because while most of them aren't competing with each other, like even if they are, they're not competing on the types of issues that we try to solve. So finding the best people is just something that every employer cares about. So that coordinating is really what we provide to the community.
All right, so let's talk about metrics. They bring leadership, technical experience, and additional work habits. What can employers and community leaders in Greater Lafayette better understanding transit military experiences and roles in global initiatives?
I think so tonight these comments are probably like to the great companies that are here. They get it, right. It's this message is actually the message. The work we're trying to do is help get that message to the companies that aren't here, right? And not every company that's not here is double negative, but it doesn't mean they don't get it, right? But however, they may be a priority or see the opportunity that it has. So INvets, I think you guys are focusing on the work on the veterans side to help veterans understand the skills they have and how it applies. We're mainly trying to do the work to help the companies understand. If you're telling me, business owner, CEO, that you're struggling to find people, we just had a meeting on Monday, struggling to find people that show up on time. No, 10, 12 of our largest manufacturing leaders on Monday. And the number one thing they said they look at for students coming out of school is not GPA, it's attendance. Can you show up and show up sober? Is the first thing, right? I was never in the military. Showing up late is not really tolerated, right?
No, it's definitely not tolerated. And I think I think this is one of the great conversations that I've had with a lot of companies as we start making introductions. Just out of curiosity, showing it, how many employers out here, so those that are of you that are very red lanyard right now, have any previous knowledge of it? That's what we do, or did you have kind of a general idea? Is there anybody that had absolutely no idea about that?
Alright.
I think they're gonna do.
So I think when it comes to those things, that's obviously where we come into play, right? So we have the institute to help that needs. But we can work with HR managers, people, hiring officials. We can do a bunch of learns where we can talk about benefits of higher veterans and all the talents and attributes that they have, learn to the table. And while we continue to focus on metrics, let's talk about families. So I mean, it's more than just that. So when we kind of going back to what you were talking about earlier, instead of looking at it from the workforce development side of the house, what are some things that local communities and organizations can do to help them and their families as they transition?
Sure. So one of the other things I'll say relative to jobs in this community, it is really easy to see how police and fire service jobs in the local government transfer to military service, right? There are protocols. You have to be in a place on time. There are SOPs. It's a rather rigid structure that's hierarchical, which is familiar to a lot of our veterans. And so it's transferable in a lot of ways and doesn't feel too different than what the veterans was for a considerable period of time. So when we think about recruiting in the city of West Lafayette, whether it's those jobs or IT or whatever jobs that have really, really transferable skills to other units of government, let's say, we focus on how can we give you the best life possible within this job. It might be overly structured in some ways, or find opportunities for the rest of your family. So we help with schools. We'll talk about what kind of schools your family wants to be involved in. We will find out what your spouse does and if they want to continue to do that and connect them with potential employers as well. We have a rapidly growing healthcare group in the city of West Lafayette, and we will continue to see a lot of growth in healthcare. Healthcare is another one of those things where we have physicians, doctors, nurses, and we have folks who have served in the military who have strengths there as well. So whether it's the veterans themselves or their families, we want to make sure that we have the right services in place to help transition for the entire family, because it is the entire family needing a transition. You don't just move on around. Everybody comes with you. And we want to make sure that we're comfortable. I will say from a welcoming community perspective, I think our community does a really great job of just making people feel welcome. And making sure that there are events and programs that fun things for kids to do where kids and parents can meet their new neighbors.
Yeah, hospitality. So with regards to career university and early innovation, how can we degree strong veteran talent in emerging industries such as advanced manufacturing,
Yeah, I think that's what's having a university, also having an Ivy Tech community college here is I would say I would encourage folks to the job you land first is very likely not going to be the job you're going to retire from in all the best ways possible. And I don't necessarily mean that you switch companies. So again, we have the work economy here, and so the opportunity to move up by making those transitions. But whether that's certificate programs all the way to getting PhD, and many employers will sponsor at least a portion of those things, or make it possible for you to work and to learn, while also hopefully maintaining a quality client, making it to your kids' events and down to the farmers market on Saturday and all those sorts of things. That stuff is here to skill up and keep up with artificial intelligence, semiconductors, and so forth, or the latest in Lean or Six Sigma, those kinds of things.
and I think those are all things that a lot of veterans in are. I know, but if I were to pull a client list, most of that have me and me in Six Sigma, whatever your base may be. I think there's a lot of talent that we still have that's untapped, and I think that's where a lot of the companies in this room have a lot to play. Get connected, learn about it, let's understand, become, that's fun to get back ready and continue to move forward, expand, grow, and then we'll lock in the rest of it.
Well, I think I'm sitting here staring at Nate too. Like, you don't just have to take a job; you can make a job, right? You can start a business. We have Matchbox, the co-working studio, and training examples, peer mentors, kinds of both. We've all been acquiring been learning, been resources for all those kind of alternative paths as well.
All great resources. Looking at what steps should the city, regional employers, and workforce organizations take now to ensure veterans remain a key part of the future workforce strategy?
Honestly, it's taking a cue from you and that's in organizations like yours, so we can prepare our players and we can be prepared, continue to be prepared for integrating veterans into our workforce. If I think about West Lafayette alone, and I'm looking at other banners across the room where this is very transferable, we have Rolls-Royce and Saab and FAAs, all of whom have either government contracts or need people who can handle highly sensitive information, right? And being prepared to handle that in our employers and in those organizations. As we think about the benefit that comes with veteran employment, it also means that you bring the skills and clearances with you that your employer can use as well. So that's, things like that you don't think about it every single circumstance. Those are things that are really, really important to employers to be able to find individual where it might not seem transferable, but that is an incredibly valuable thing that you bring them to. That I think we can think about those transferable skills, put them in a format that the civilian world understands, and then be able to translate it back and forth. So we can create this long-term pipeline, and we're having the same conversation, the same terminology, and understanding each other.
It's definitely an important thing, right? So military jargon doesn't translate very well to civilian jargon. So maybe we all have the ability to get on the same page, have the same communication, so kind of working from that angle. I think it definitely opens more doors as well as close.
Yeah, I think just making it a repeatable system, and making sure that the veteran community is kind of solely like centrally representative, in that system. It's not the totality. It's not being a totally separate pipeline. And that's not what the mayor's saying, but that the pipeline make sure we address those particular issues in it. I mean, just around the stables, an example, St. Baxter Center Banks' office here is great, like at the federal level, at the local level, government, nonprofits, the business community, it takes all of us all running. None of us can do all of it.
It takes a village, right? Yeah. Definitely takes a village. Well, that is the final question that I had for you. I appreciate your time.
Kelly Friend here is our board member for INvets and a panelist. We also then have people networking. So this is just the pregame of before we start.
Because then I can tell you why you would talk. I can't tell you that without being there observing, kind of doing the assessment of the current environment and about teaching themselves.
One of the things that are really I just see coming out of employers that are looking to hire veterans is sending off the job description and possibly the interview questions before. That will help them be able to translate it into civilian terms. They will have time to sit with it. Asking a veteran to tell them about themselves is probably not the best first question. They're going to give you everything that they have been taught to say for the last 5, 10, 20 years. Give them a moment to translate that into their civilian terms. Let them talk to their support network. Let them talk to people that have already transferred into their civilian life. It's not that they don't have any of the needs or skills. They just haven't figured out in this part of their transition how to tell you about it. So it's kind of the first question we ask a civilian employers. Hi, tell me about yourself. It's not your first question. I think it should just be next. Quickly.
And you already, like, veterans already have a difficult time talking about things. If you were to ask me, just like asking me where did I grow up, I'm like, well, or being in the military, right? And like, hey, so where did you live? It's like, well, you mean now, 5 years ago, or 3 years ago? You had like in order places within the last 5. So when you ask that sort of thing to talk about themselves, it's very hard because they perceive it to be as bragging upon themselves. And as servant leaders, which most military veterans are, they're sort of leaders. They don't. It's never about that. It's about the accomplishments of the individuals that they were training, leading, and helping move through their car rushing through that implementation.
I would actually agree with that. And a lot of veterans, and one in particular told me, it's not about self promotion. They don't like talking about themselves, but they have spent years with self improvement. So they have taken tons of training. They have taken tons of orders and advice and followed through. So they're always on a self improvement journey. They just don't self promote. So as an employer, one of the things that you're going to have to coach is how do they represent themselves and how do they get past not being able to promote themselves verbally. You're going to see it in their work. They're just not going to talk about it.
So, what advice would you give veterans about translating your military bills? I know you talked about it briefly a few minutes ago. How would you tell them to clearly articulate that when it comes to leadership, project management, operational experience to succeed?
The first thing that I was tell them is find a very honest, probably one drink in friend, and have them talk about themselves. Have them talk. Do the 10-second speech or the elevator speech, and if they look at you and say, I don't know. The problems we go back again, right? But truthfully, it is getting away from the military jargon. It's pretty hard. But start thinking about if I was to explain this to my sister, my mother, my father, how do I explain my job? And then start there. And then being able to say, like, oh, that's success. We just say things a little bit better.
And again, I think that's where we come in, right? So we help those sales members through that process. We try to talk to them like, hey, take this out of your resume, put this in here, let's do this, let's substitute that, and then be confident with what it is that you are. I give it time.
I should say, you should give them a love, then that's James will do that. So if you need a true friend, give them to James, and he'll help you with that translation. They will absolutely tell you if you're on zero or not.
Well, I think that's the best part about the job, working with veterans is what we, if you allow, I'll speak for myself. That's one of the reasons that I love this, right? So that's not after 22, 21 years, you, a mentor and training and being alongside and seeing, my subordinates grow inside their careers and the model great one of the things. When it came time to be a separating, I wanted to continue to do those things. And INvets gave me the opportunity to do it just in a different role on a much smaller scale, but it's still the meaningful employment that I want, which is obviously the goal for what we want for all of our clients is to find that meaningful employment that they're going to be at for a career. Right? We're not looking for them to get that part-time job or that temporary job. We're looking for long, sustainable careers to grow with those position.
Yeah, Jason, you really spoke on something that I want to make sure that everybody in the room knows. When INvets brings a transitioning service member to a community, they're not just bringing a new employee. They're bringing probably children to the school. They're probably bringing a spouse. They're bringing a whole unit. So they're also bringing maybe your next volunteer firefighter, maybe your next school coach, maybe it's somebody that's going to organize an event. To Jay's point here, he said, I wanted to serve. That's what I heard, right? He still wants to continue to serve in postal service. So how will they do that in the community? You have to allow space for that to happen. So hiring a veteran today is actually putting more workforce development, economic development, and also community, the banner that we always should be around. So thank you for that.
Well, to be honest, that was during our conversation, honestly, you guys have every single one of my questions. So, I wanted to talk about, maybe before you wrap up, is I made a comment earlier about veteran friendly versus veteran friendly. From your perspectives, can you kind of touch on that? I agree with you. Listen to the last one and then go back.
All right. I don't know. Did this one work? All right. Maybe we'll just try it. Veteran friendly and veteran friendly are two different things. Veteran friendly is when you, whether the line comes around, when you're like, oh, we're celebrating. Or when you, God forbid, maybe only pick up your veterans pictures around and you get it wrong on Memorial Day or Veterans Day, right? Kind of being a little sarcastic here. But it is just doing the pizza parties for veterans. This is where employers feel that they're really doing something right, that they're really not giving into that self-improvement that veterans really want. Right? This is not where veterans thrive. Veteran ready is having SOPs that are ready to onboard veterans. It's looking at their joint service reference and being able to say, yeah, I know exactly where I'm at with that. It's having a readiness plan for a whole other workforce that can actually change the direction of your company. It is not, and you can still do it because some really love it, but it is not thinking over their service a few times a year. I know it's not going to be unpopular opinion, but being veteran ready is a totally different model, right? It's using systems to improve the employer experience for the veteran and their families. Gosh, you really, this is the way you wanted to have it. No.
It's important to talk about. But again, I think it comes back to if you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know, you can't fix it. And I think that's why I want to have the kind of the hard conversation because as doing what we do, we have the ability to help improve this. If you have difficulties reading a resume and you have difficulty understanding the military jargon, we can help you do it. Employers understand those things and we can help them go down the plans around.
I would have to say, Jay, for organizations such as INvets that I really stand behind that can change the trajectory of how employers do that. Tim. Yeah, great. So just to let you know, we did a webinar series, and Tim was part of it, and INvets was too, and we really dug into it. So I will be happy to. Oh no, no, you did amazing. You did amazing. Now we are here. Yeah, here goes it.
I'm just trying to favor.
Yeah, go ahead.
So they help you prevent a brain.
Yeah.
And employers also that best practices for those veterans who have, let's say, barriers to employment. So
Absolutely. And I think, so what Tim was asking is there best practices to help veterans that have barriers, maybe getting the job or keeping, correct? And a lot of that has to go into understanding that if you see a disabled veteran, it is not the same as a civilian that is disabled, right? Those are two different things. And also letting them know that there are things like the Family Medical Leave Act. Veterans come out of a space that FMLA doesn't really make sense. They don't know, but it is something that HR and other things can start clearing those barriers. And it could be things that you already have in place. But yes, and I think that other things that you could do is making sure that they have the resources internally, like veteran resource navigation, or how do they finding leadership positions with them so they can go ahead and take a lead, even if it's not part of the job description. How do they really dig in to the company so they belong, right? So belonging is a really big part of it. So I hope that's what you were getting at, Tim. Did I answer appropriately? Okay, thank you. James, are we over time? Was that wait for
No,
you to get that?
no, I don't think so. But I would say keep in mind, disabled doesn't mean broken, right?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So don't have the misperceiving assumptions that just because you're hiring a veteran that you're hiring issues. That's not always the case. So when you look at the veteran community, even with potential issues, you're still going to be looking at someone that's probably way more productive than the average Joe that's 16 between ages of 18 and you want reliability, dependability, trustworthiness, and predictable, then hire a veteran. You want your business to grow, if you want it to succeed, if you want to expand, hire a veteran. If you don't know what you're looking for when it comes to hiring a veteran, that's why we're here. We have business cards all over the place, we got flyers all over the place, we got QR codes, or you can go down to 777 North Meridian, walk through the front door, take a right, knock on one of the doors to the left of the right, and we'll be there to answer all their questions. And on that note,
James, I always appreciate being able to chat.
always. I know the rest of you enjoy your evening. I would like you to go ahead, eat some of this fine, delicious food that you have and you bring those attributes. You have those attributes. I think a lot of it is they tend to get caught up in the moment where they try to make themselves to be bigger than what they need to. They just keep it simple, explain who you are, be professional, be confident, and sell yourself to be those attributes.
And I would have to add one more. Be curious. Be curious about the job. And now the employers, be curious about the veteran understanding and learning. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask the hard ones. What skills do you have? How does that translate? Can you give me an example of what that looked like in your service? And painting a picture is a lot better than using a whole bunch of words, right? I'm trying to juggle with chat. Like, give me an example of what that looks like.
So we have a lot here right here. When there would be questions.
INvets is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to helping transitioning service members and their families find great careers and communities here in Indiana.
The way we usually connect with veterans is in-person events. They are assigned to a case manager, which is one of the 5 veteran engagement managers who are located in 5 regions around Indiana. They'll really work hard to connect with them. And then they complete the profile in more detail about the types of careers they want, the skills they have, where they might live, do they have a spouse. So it's a very personal service. And we try to match them with the right career. We try to match them with the right community.
We take our job seriously, understanding that we're not selling somebody a thing, we're helping somebody move into the next phase of their life. That's not lost on us.
We are not moving one person, we're moving a whole family, and every member of that family has a different need. We try to have those open discussions about everything.
So what we realized was just helping somebody find a job when they get out of the military isn't enough. There's got to be more to it than that, especially if we want to create lifelong Hoosiers. So we started thinking about what can we do outside of helping people find great careers to get them connected to their community. Transition is not transactional, it's transformational. And it's something that we talk with our staff about all the time. We cannot look at transition out of the military as a transaction of leaving one job and going to another. It's a transformational moment in somebody's life, and we hope and believe that should be Indiana. And once they're here, we remind them that we're here for life. So if there's anything that you need once you've gotten here, you're looking for a volunteer opportunity, a way to get involved in your community, or you just need some resources,
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. INvets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. INvets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about INvets, visit us at invets.org today.